Well, Tom, here we are at the entrance to Birch Creek Ranch, I believe is the name of your operation here. And when did this become a tree farm?
In 2006, we had a visit from Todd Nightingale. Came over and he was looking at my request to look at some of the plantations because we had some bug problems. And he brought Joe Pace over and he started talking about tree farm and it sounded like a good program. And I'd been involved in Landowners Association since the early 90s. And the tree farm issue never came up. And so he brought it up and we looked at it and he did the background work on it. And so in 2006 we became a tree farm.
Fantastic.
We had been tree farming a long time, we just didn't call it that.
Right. Well, okay, so the reason you did it was because of what again?
Well, at the presentation by Todd of the tree farm program, the principles of the tree farm, the plans, and those items, try and learn from somebody else's experiences rather than making our own mistakes. So we thought that'd be a good idea, and get in a community of people with a common interest that you really liked and enjoyed.
Fantastic. That sounds like a good reason to go into it. I have one more question that normally I ask at the end, but obviously we're here at the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and ask it now because of the complexity of your operation based on me reading the application. What sort of future do you see for tree farming in Texas?
That's a good question. With the mill closures and every time there's an expense involved in the timber industry, it all boils down to the tree farmer gets just a little bit less each time because he's the one that you get paid less for your timber. It costs more to get the logger in to haul it off. So those are issues that they're constant and they're pervasive, but what it's leading to is some of the smaller tree farms are just not going to realize the value of the tree farming certification program, which is where they're moving towards. A larger business, and I don't consider us a large tree farm. We're semi-commercially viable because we can cut periodically and grow periodically. But some of the smaller businesses, the mom and pop 100 and 200 acres, it's going to be hard for them to appreciate. It's been a learning experience for them. They've learned a lot. They've got a plan, but it may not be exactly what they've been used to. And but I think overall for tree farm, I think it's moving forward. It's become make things a little bit more economically viable for those that stick with it, and because to move a foot for certified wood, and Tree Farm being a certification organization now it's going to make a difference. And so overall, I see a positive future.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Well, Tom, here we are out on your place, just outside of beautiful suburban Oakwood, and we're seeing some things here that we don't often see. I'd just like to find out from you what it is that you're doing here. Could you tell us a little about it?
Sure. Our primary emphasis in this area was to open it up to provide forage for wildlife. It was a pretty dense, heavy impacted hardwood area. There's a lot of yaupon and that, and so we went ahead in 2007 and thinned this area pretty good, and then in 2012 we burned through it, and we plan to do that again here in the next year or so. But it was primarily to emphasize bring things down to the ground for deer especially, to give them some wildlife habitat and to be able to support a larger population.
One of the things that I noticed here that different from what I'd seen on another place several years ago is in your thinning here, this was not a quasi-row thinning. It wasn't cutting lanes as much as it was doing what?
No, it was an overall selection thinning, looking at trying to take out the lesser valuable trees,
Mm-hmm.
and also to open up to so the crowns weren't touching. And the instructions were go in and get it, and that's what they did. And they did a pretty good job. Did a lot of mowing through it and took down a lot of the yopon and things like that.
Oh,
Knocked it
lovely
down.
taking down yopon.
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits that you feel you're getting or that you're aiming toward here?
Well, there's several. One, if you just look around, this is a pretty place. I love the woods, and this to me is a great benefit. Just being able to be here, be blessed with it, and be able to work with what God provided, and also we get a little money back to help pay for the burning and the management of the property, and it gives us a chance to leave it better than we found it, and have a legacy for our children.
Wonderful. Good. Well, why don't we move on from here and maybe visit another place on your
Okay.
property and see what else you have going on.
Very good.
Thank you. Well, Tom, we're in a completely different setting here. We've got this beautiful lake behind us. Makes you kind of want to get a recon rod out and and test the waters. But let's continue talking something about the benefits that you've realized working this farm.
Well, you can see behind us the lake. We were very fortunate when this property was available that we were able to acquire it. We came out here in November as the colors were turning, and boy, I tell you, the prettier sight. Chamber of Commerce moment. There's really,
Yeah.
it sold it for sure. But it's a curse and a blessing. We've got a dam, so we've incurred responsibilities. We have a great fish population. We've done a lot of that, and we've had some income from that. We've leased it out. Currently, we have the lake leased to a corporate customer. So the lake itself has been a real benefit to us. You might look around here too and notice the streamside coverage that we have. The entire lake is surrounded by heavy woods. Hadn't been cut. It will be. It's going to be the east side over on that direction is going to be burned this winter. So there will be some impact on that stream zone. But overall, the property's got over 500 acres of streamside zones.
Wow.
And that doesn't include the lake, so it's well over 600. There is a benefit there because we get a tax break on a special valuation for that. So that's an important benefit when you have a place this size with no agriculture exemption. So makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. And that benefit that you enjoy is because you're providing something for the public that the public values.
Mm-hmm. That's true. They do enjoy that, and we do, and I like to see people use it. So as long as they take care of it.
You bet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Let's see what else you've got here,
All right.
Tom. We've got a lot of area to look at.
Sure enough. All right.
All right. Well, Tom, we're in one more place on your farm. I mean, when you got this many acres, there are, I'm sure, a lot of beautiful spots to stop and take a look and talk about things that you're doing out here and have done. But for right here in this location, what can you tell me about some of the benefits that you've enjoyed working on this ranch?
Well, one of the economic benefits when we came through here in 2012, that's when we thinned this, and at that time the biomass market was available to us, and it was wet enough for them to come out here to cut this far west, and they came in and they cut and they hauled, and they did a mulching job along with the thinning, and we hauled I think it was about 2,800 tons of biomass over to Nacogdoches, and probably half of that, if not more, was yopon. And that's a benefit. If you get somebody to pay you, it wasn't much, $1 a ton, but to pay you to haul yopon, boy, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, that would be, I would consider, one of the big economic benefits from this area, along with the thinning that we did. Again, trying to open it up and get, for one, releasing some of the younger pine. We took pine that was 14-inch diameter and above, and because there wasn't a lot, and it wasn't enough for them to come back some other time and do it. And this way we found out with the thinning how much pine there actually was over here on this east side of the lake. And so there's going to be a good economic benefit in the future from that when these pines start getting harvestable size.
Well, Tom, as you recall, in 2011, all of East Texas, well, the whole state, in fact, had the worst drought year on record. And we lost a lot of trees. We lost a lot of pine as well as hardwoods.
Yes.
And I'm sure you lost some here too. What were you able to do anything with those?
Yeah, we lost a lot of mature pine, a lot. And that was one of the blessings of the thinning operation. The mulching, they took that too. They ground those big old 30-inch things up, and they'd, as long as they weren't punky, they still had a little needle on top, brown. They ground it up along with the opine, and it helped clean up, especially along this site here. You can see off to the side, there's a couple of places that some pine had fallen. Like I mentioned earlier, just had to rehab the power line from a dead pine tree falling on it. But they cleaned it up real good instead of letting it lay in the woods. Of course, that would have been a benefit too, I guess, because of the nutrient value of it. But we got enough laying in the woods now that a little bit won't hurt. Cleaned it up pretty good and helped preserve the power line as long as we could.
And most of the nutrient values in the leaves anyway, and they had fallen a long time ago when the drought came. So, well, very good. Well, thank you. Let's take a look at another spot.
All right.